Oh yeah, so I guess, I mean, I don't even know if I need to film this video. I don't know if anyone's gonna like think about this way or not. So I never know what I need to defend myself against. No, I should correct that. I often know what I'm gonna be attacked for, and sometimes I have no idea what I'm gonna be attacked for. It's always just a very high. So I definitely am living in a hostile environment. I would say the conglomerate has definitely created a hostile environment for me pretty much everywhere. You know, I mean, in terms of like just sort of the overall situation. But anyway, yeah, no, I mean, okay, so no, I mean, my having kind of again considered the possibility of like being actual friends with someone like Robert Pattinson, and I just, you know, it really has nothing to do with a financial side of it. I think it's more just a question of he's a pretty good actor, you know. I mean, and has who do you get along with in any situation that you're in, you know, socially, professionally, or any of that stuff. You know, and he and the sort of the other people that I've kind of just sort of like considered the possibility of having like a friendship with, that kind of thing. Or I suppose a romantic relationship with some of them. I've considered that. But look what always happens. It's always just like this unbelievable disaster. And I've said no about him already, right? So it was more a question of like wondering if I could be friends with him. And then there's a couple of things I think about. I mean, as far as like people in that industry, you know, I have not just kind of indiscriminately chosen people to kind of like consider that territory with, right? I mean, there are people who, for whatever reason, I have an affinity with them, you know, or there seems to be something about them that suggests that I could have an affinity with them. Sometimes it just goes like horribly wrong, and sometimes it goes pretty wrong. Oh, pretty much all the time it goes wrong. But they have, you know, for the most part, they've had qualities that made me interested in the first place. And then some people who are just really just as famous as those people, I just have it's just been like, just like meeting people at a party, being like, okay, well, yep, I guess we're all at this party together, sort of, although I'm, you know, we're not even gonna talk about like what my world role is. It's interesting how it like just has so many sides to it, like from one extreme to the other, right? You're the most hated person in the world, the most loved person in the world, the most powerful person in the world, the least powerful person in the world. I'm like everything at once, right? It's kind of funny. It depends on the day. Depends on what's happened. Depends on all sorts of things. No, there are people who, you know, I don't know, like some people that you feel like you may even not even have a problem with them in any way whatsoever, but you just feel like, this is not the person for me. You know, it's just it's like anything else in the world. Or you already have, you know, a number of people that you're dealing with, and you're just like, I just don't have, there's just not enough space in my life for any more of this, you know, even like another friend or whatever it is, you know, especially there, it being such a difficult, the whole thing being so difficult to navigate, you know, as far as the conglomerate is concerned. It's like, I mean, literally even just to have any sort of interaction with someone online or in any way, everything's been online. You know, I think for the most part, nothing's been in person, I'll put it that way. Nothing's been direct in terms of like email or any of that stuff. It just requires so much attention because of the way the conglomerate jumps all over it. So that has also necessarily just kind of curtailed my any kind of like expansion of my social life that way, which I don't it doesn't even qualify as a social life, I don't think. But you know, I mean, what have been some of the characteristics of the people that I've sort of like been interested in over these few years? Intelligence, really important. You know, a sense of humor, really important. A way of seeing things that's not just a rote way of seeing things. Creative, you know, talented, that kind of thing. Just, I mean, and then we're all kind of like they're in something that I'm good at. You know, I'm a good writer. They're, you know, good performers. That kind of thing. And the things that I talk about in terms of like the failings of the entertainment industry, it's not like I'm the first person to ever talk about those things. I'm just one of the first people who's, and even so, I don't think, I was about to say I'm one of the first people whose life has been ruined by it, but that's certainly not true. It's more just a question of like the live dissection of me happening in front of the world. Whereas, I mean, look, there's probably all sorts of people, you know, all sorts of people who have just been totally cannibalized by that industry. You never hear from them again because the internet is a fairly recent invention. People couldn't sort of document their experience of having their lives totally ruined by that, you know, rapacious void. Yeah, but I don't, you know, I mean, he still doesn't seem to be treating me all that great as far as I can tell. And even if you did, even if you were just like do everything just the way that I would like, you know, I mean, there would still be the whole tabloid thing to deal with, and having people, all the people who are already invading my privacy feel like there is no reason not to totally invade my privacy anymore and follow me around and like all that kind of thing. And then also, I don't know what it would be like to write for somebody that I was also friends with. I mean, I think that would be kind of a tricky thing to do. No pun intended. I think it would be difficult. You know, I do think it would be difficult because like how there's just you need to be able to be, if you're gonna write for characters, you need to be kind of simultaneously like empathetic and ruthless. You know, you know, I mean, hopefully you're not just writing characters that you absolutely hate in some way, but even if you do, you have to kind of be able to see them as three-dimensional characters to be able to write for them at all. And then, like, say you have a character that you really like, but you're writing something for them, like going through a situation that's painful or something like that. You have to be able to accurately describe and portray what it is they're going through, right? And then, of course, like if you really get to know somebody really well, then I mean, what are you? Are you going to be constantly playing this game of like trying not to step on people's toes in terms of the things that you say? You know, especially now with everything is just kind of a trigger now. Everything. You know, because of even just like colors and words and that kind of thing. So like, what if I was to say I were to write something for someone like Robert Pattinson? I mean, what on earth could I write for him? I mean, I could just sit there, stare at a blank piece of paper all day, and just be like, what am I going to write that's not going to offend one of his you know, one of his friends, one of his girlfriends, or somebody he's worked with, himself, his family, his like, you know, just anybody, his fans, anyone at all. You know, I mean, Stephenie Meyer, anybody. You know, I think it'd be harder. I think it would be harder to write with a particular person in mind than it would be just how to create a character right from the beginning. I think it would be very hard. You know, I mean, his family's in show business also, and it's just like, what on earth could I think it would, it's not necessarily impossible, but I think it would make it harder. And so that was not my motivation. It's just a question of like, you gotta have friends, right? Everybody needs them. But you know, the conglomerate is truly a serious and terrible thing that's happened over these past few years. All my other concerns are just as valid as they ever were, and there are other people out there. You know, if I'm able to kind of just like, you know, just get from one step to the next in terms of putting my life together, there's plenty of smart people out there. You know, people who have all of those qualifications in terms of like people that I want to be friends with, and who also, you know, never got involved in really horrible things, never did anything to me in their lives. You know, I mean, it's not. You know, it's a thought, but it's certainly not my only thought, and it was not motivated by greed.